Hey guys! So today you and I are going to talk about job hopping and why it's so acceptable. So let's get into it. So the question in question was, Fredrik, why is job hopping among engineers so acceptable? And the short answer is because we have such a deficit of software developers that everybody is trying to snipe off their competition's developers. Everybody's trying to steal developers from each other. And when you're in such a high demand and there's so much incentive for you to move from one company to another, it becomes very normal. Let me explain. So, you know, I've been saying in a few videos before that the demand for software developers has probably never been higher than it is right now. There is an enormous demand to the point where, as I was saying, people are trying to snipe developers from. I mean, I don't remember I don't think I've had a full week where I haven't been contacted by at least one or two recruiters, regardless of, like, it doesn't really matter. Like, it's just constant, pretty much all the time. And that's with me even communicating that I'm interested in a job. They don't even care anymore. You know, that little nice checkbox that you can click saying that, oh, I'm open for opportunities, that status on something like LinkedIn. They don't care. They will contact you anyway. I wonder what would happen if I said that I was interested in opportunities. Maybe then I would get 3 people or 4 people a week. When it was at its worst, I think I had about 2 people a day contact me regarding job opportunities, and we're talking globally here. Everything all the way from Vietnam, Japan, up to the States, like all across the globe, everywhere. I think that the farthest away place they ever contacted me from was, I think it was Argentina, and then I had one from New Zealand at one point, I'm pretty sure. But anywho, I digress. So what I'm saying is that the demand is enormously high. And if you then think about it, if you have a deficit, which is the case, we have a deficit of, I don't even want to think about how much it is worldwide, but I know that in the US, the last numbers that I saw was a deficit of about 9 million. So 9 million people, roughly, with an increasing deficit today. So if you could produce, literally, if my entire country, my tiny little Swedish country over here, if we all turned into programmers today, we would just barely be able to fill the demand of one country. Or, well, it's a very big country, let's be honest about that, but one country. So with that enormous amount of demand brings incentive for people to figure out, okay, if there's not enough developers to go around, how do we fix this? Because we need the developers, but how can we convince them to come and work for us? And this is where the IT companies stand out in comparison to quite a lot of other companies, where, I mean, they will hire people to make their offices nicer. They will make sure that they have a HR department that is very friendly and, like, really people-oriented, and they will give you perks, and they will offer you, like, it's almost like a little bit of a sales pitch. Now, I'm not saying that it's easy to get in, because that's the paradox in all of this. Everybody wants developers, but they don't want bad developers. So the recruitment process can be fairly grueling in the sense that it can be very thorough. They can ask you to do things that are not really, well, it's not fair all the time. The recruitment process is not nice, but I'm not going to go into that. I'm just going to say that it's not all candies and rainbows. Some of this stuff isn't all that fun to be part of, but this is what's happening. So once they have all of these things in place, when they have created a way to give incentive to developers to come and work for them, well, then they need to find the developers. And since 2018, I don't know what the exact number is today, but the rough number is going to be 1.5% unemployment rate within software development. 1.5% globally unemployment in software development. That doesn't leave a lot of developers for you to just find on the open market that are unemployed. So now you need to just do what most of the recruiters are doing today, which is this case I was describing with myself. They're going to start to just spam you. They're just going to contact you. They don't really, they don't care anymore if you're looking for a job or not, because they know that if they're just going to focus on the people who are looking for a job, they're not going to be able to find anybody. They need to just go broader. So they send you offers, and I think that the most of them have the strategy where they just have spam systems, and they're very cute. They think that some of them are actually trying to make it a little bit personalized. It's just that I can see that there is a very clear pattern to the way that they describe things, because you can get a message from 2 different recruiters and they basically say the same thing. It's this, the structure of the text is the same. The offers are different, but the structure is the same. So I'm guessing that they're using the same systems in order to just spam me with mails, and that's pretty much where we are. I believe that there's quite a few people who pay fairly good money if you can give them email addresses to developers. LinkedIn must make a fortune when it comes to providing services to recruiters and similar employers and stuff like that, in order to just get you to get you in hold of developers. And this is why it becomes natural, because with all of this pressure, because remember, your employer also knows how desperate people are for developers. They also know how desperate they are for developers, so they're doing the same thing. Everybody's doing the same thing. It's like a free-for-all. Nobody's safe. Everybody's trying to snipe the people that they have, and snipe the people that other people have, which means that for us developers, it becomes a very natural thing with all of this pressure, or rather this, with all of this incentive for us to move from one company to another. It becomes almost normal for us that this happens, because we know, everybody knows how high the demand is. It doesn't really matter how the job provider feels, because at the end of the day, they have nothing that, apart from the fact that you want to stay within that company, to hold you in place. There isn't, if it was a scarcity situation, I promise you that the job hopping would stop. If there was such a surplus of developers that it was almost impossible to find a new job as a developer or to get a decent salary, the job hopping would slow down. And this is not just for developers, guys. This is true for every single business out there. It's actually to the point where we do that at my company as well, and I know that it was happening at my last company as well, where companies, they calculate roughly, like they don't even think in terms of, oh, I'm going to keep this employee around for 10, 20 years, because it's not going to happen. They calculate that, I need to keep them here for at least 2 to 4 years. That's usually the job hopping rate. And I need to make it, and then that's what they calculate that you're going to stay. And it's crazy. I know it's crazy, but this is the way it works. On the plus side in all of this, it's very beneficial for developers who are very ambitious, who want to maximize their salaries, because it's very easy for you to renegotiate your salaries. And as long as you don't hop too frequently, you can continue doing so, because most of the industry does actually accept this. So what I want you to take away from this is pretty much that the reason why it's acceptable for us developers to job hop, I think that the average rate is 2 to 4 years, about there-ish, is because the demand is so ludicrously high that your employer is aware of what your market value is. And this is something I've said in a few videos as well. You need to know what your market value is, guys, because if you're an experienced developer, it's actually fairly high. It's pretty high. You can't just walk around and think that you're the king of the world or something like that, because that's not going to fly. But you shouldn't be afraid of considering your options, because you have a lot of options. And your employer knows that, and they also know how many offers that you are getting on a frequent basis. And they know that because they are doing the same thing as their competitors. They're trying to steal their developers, and their competitors are trying to steal you. And that creates a situation where everybody kind of understands that, oh, this person has 20 offers from other companies. Well, I can kind of understand that there's a better option out there, and it's completely understandable that someone will go from one company to another if they feel that this is a better fit for them. And this is not true for just developers, it's true for pretty much every single industry out there. Have a great day.